Hello guys, welcome to a chapter a day. Today I'm super excited because I got a brand new book from an author I'm very excited about, been following, Myron Golden, and his book, Boss Moves. Myron Golden is he does lots of stuff, but he is a consultant for business owners. That is one of the things that he does. And people pay him. He's got several, levels of service that he provides. So he's got a lower service of $50,000 a year for him to consult with you, right? He's got another program that's $350,000 a year, and he's got a top tier consulting program that's $1 million a year. And I'll be honest, when I first heard that, I'm like, man, who's paying people $50,000 to consult with their business? And I'm like, in my brain, that does not have a big business, I'm thinking, well, what can you possibly get from that? Well, the thing is that Myron Golden, his advice, when people pay him $50,000, within 1 year are getting $250,000, maybe a $500,000, or even $1 million return, extra revenue on their business based on what Myron has been helping them put into their business. BOSS stands for Business Optimization Success Secrets. So he's helping them optimize their business to massively increase revenue and keep costs low or even lower the costs. He's a master at this. If you follow his story, he built his businesses, built several businesses, written several books, has massively successful YouTube channels. And when I say that, I mean for the regular Joe, he's generating upwards of $50,000 just for $50,000 a month just from one of his channels where he talks about his business strategies. So the guy knows what he's talking about. He does really well, and I'm going to talk about the very first chapter in this book. Just one part of it, which are the business models, because he outlines 4 different business models, and it's basically up to us. Like when we start a business as an entrepreneur, we start a business, what business model are we going to follow? And the crazy thing, and this is why people pay Myron so much money, is that he outlined this, he made it super clear. Most of us don't know. Most of us that become entrepreneurs say we're entrepreneurs. Well, I'm about to show you, he classified 4 different business models, only one of which is entrepreneur. And so let me show you. Let me see where I can stand. I'll stand on this side. So we have the business models. We have a wantrepreneur, a wealthpreneur, an entrepreneur, and a wealthpreneur. That's actually a pretty hard word to say. So what does that mean? Most people start a business and they don't know what to do or how they're going to sell and what is it? So they call themselves an entrepreneur because they started a business. But are you? The first one he has is called a wantrepreneur. And this is where so many people start. And I'll be honest, I was there several times. Like, oh yeah, wantrepreneur. What is that? What do these letters mean? This stands for low volume, low profit. So for example, you're like, oh, I'm going to open an e-com store, or I'm going to sell a product. I'm going to make $5, $10, $15 on a product. And you go out there and you sell 10 of them or 15 of them. Well, guess what? You didn't make much money altogether because you barely sold any and you barely made a profit. The likelihood of you succeeding in that business is low, especially if you're thinking that business is going to support you. Right? Then we move over to here. We have a Waltrepreneur, named after Sam Walton, founder of Walmart. Now, actually, this is a wildly successful business model for Sam Walton. And this stands for high volume and low profit. Sam Walton was very committed that he wanted to keep prices super low, and he actually had a standard, and I'm forgetting what it is exactly, but he something like he didn't want to make more than 3 cents on the dollar profit. So he kept his prices dirt cheap, like so low, and he's like, I just want to sell the most I can, as much as I can. Let me sell a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm barely going to make anything on each one, but I'm going to sell a lot of it. It's worked for him. His family are some of the wealthiest people in the world, and Walmart isn't going anywhere. But how many people can compete and grow and build a business on that level to the point where you're successful enough as a big business? It's challenging. Few will do it. Then we have what he calls the entrepreneur. All right, this is when you start raising your prices and you start making some more money, but your volume is not massive. It's a low volume, but you have high profit. Myron Golden goes into like this book falls under this. It costs him 75 cents or $1 to print the book, and maybe he sells it for $20. Right, so he's making a $19 profit. So that's a high profit per book. His cost is very low, but he has to sell quite a few of these to actually make some money, doesn't he? My business right now, I'm selling. I created an American Sign Language course, and I'm selling it in two ways. One is a lifetime subscription for $200. And my other one is a monthly subscription for $20. Currently, right now, that's the price. And the great thing about my course is that I've already put in all the work to create it. So at this point, all I'm doing is trying to get it out there. And I have almost no fulfillment that needs to happen. Right? I'm not sending anything through the mail. I'm going to be a little bit of time with responding and maybe setting up ads, but all my attention is going to be on promoting. So I fall under here though. I think it's a high profit. Basically at this point, my costs are very, very, very low, and they don't go up with each sale. It's unlike a book that has a cost per sale. My course, I basically have a cost for the platform that it's on, and my only other cost will be advertising. And there are ways to actually have very low cost advertising or eliminate the cost of advertising. And it's not just by doing organic. I'll talk about that in another video called a self-liquidating offer. But if I'm not talking about advertising, just the cost of running my business, it's very, very low, and it just stays the same whether I have 10 people signed up or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000. So, entrepreneur. Well, Myron Golden suggestion is to move over to this quadrant here and to the wealthpreneur. And that is where you go high volume, but you're going high profit. And he talks about, I love listening to Myron talk. And I keep going to the book because I like seeing his face. I love when people put their face on the book. It makes me connect with them. But Myron talks about, I love hearing him talk because he talks about insanely high prices that me, as coming from a high school teacher background, I think are just absolutely stupid. I think they're stupid. Oh yeah, I'm going to pay $50,000. I'm going to pay half of my annual salary to someone. That's what's in my brain. And so listening to him over and over and over again, hearing him talk about dollars and cents as only, right? Only $50,000, minimizing the impact. I go $50,000, and he's like, it's only $50,000. It's only $50,000. That's the cheap one. My other one's $350,000. And in my head, I'm thinking $350,000, right? But the way that Myron talks makes those numbers sound small, which makes them feasible and attainable for me. That's what happens when I start listening to him. And pretty soon I'm thinking, yeah, it's actually not that much, only $50,000. And all of a sudden, my mindset shifts. And so me making $5,000 isn't a big deal. Yes, that's what comes. That's what it is. When I have a $5,000 day, the first time I'm going to be excited, but I'm going to expect it. And I'm going to expect it over and over and over again. I'm going to expect $10,000 days. I'm going to expect $50,000 days. I might even expect $100,000 days. We'll see what happens. But when you have high volume, high profit, this is where real money gets made, right? You start here, you have high profit and low volume. Then you start scaling into this part where you start getting more volume. Because if you can imagine, if you're selling a product, let's say you have a course that you're selling for $3,000. Okay, you made the course, all the stuff is in there, like my course. You put in all the effort up front, you basically paying for the platform, maybe some advertising, but that is a very high profit for you because someone buys your course and you're giving them access. There isn't much associated cost with each sale, right? And if you get, okay, I got a $3,000 course. Well, I sell 10 of those in a month. I just made $30,000. 30 grand. What's my cost on that? Well, my cost is $500 to run everything. Doesn't matter how many people sign up. Now imagine you take that $3,000 course and you start pumping ads, you start getting more traction, you start building it up, and instead of a 10, you sold 100. And you went from $30,000 a month to $300,000 a month. And that sounds like a huge jump. And for someone who's just starting in business or who has a job, that's a massive amount of money. To have $300,000 a month or $3.6 million a year sounds like a ton of money. But again, when you hear people like Myron Golden who bringing in 10 million a year, who have multiple different streams of some, my YouTube, this one YouTube channel I have is making, 600 grand a year. I got this other one making another 400,000 or 500,000 a year. I have this business that makes 1.5 million a year. And I got this business over here that's making me a 6.3 million a year. Pretty soon you're like, well, $100,000 a month, $300,000 a month, it's not a big deal. And when you can start talking like that, you've made it into this wealthpreneur model. And I tell you what, at that point, I believe you can write your own ticket, pretty much do whatever you want to do as far as finances are concerned. Because if you have a high profit, okay, time with that high volume, you're making a lot of money. When you have a lot of profit, right? Cash flow is king, but you want to be profitable, right? If I'm making 10 million a year, but I'm spending 9.5 million to run the business, I'm not in high profit. I'm in low profit. If I make 10 million a year and I have a cost under $1 million, I'm making a lot of money. So awesome. So I love that. So which business model are you in? Or you start from one and you move to another, right? You have the entrepreneur, the wealthpreneur, or the entrepreneur, and the wealthpreneur. Guys, so good. I devoured this book. I read it in like 2 days. I took feverish notes. I earmarked everything. I'm like, this is golden. And that's funny because his name's Myron Golden. But what Myron says about this book is that people pay him to come in and consult, and he charges, if it's an individual consultation fee, $40,000 for 1 hour. Talk about high profit. Goes in, he consults for $40,000. He said this book came from 2 hours of coaching. Like you can pay $80,000 to Myron to come in and teach you what's in this book that you can buy for $30 plus shipping and handling, I believe it is. And I'm not selling his book. I don't sell it. He's the only one that sells it. You can check him out. Boss Moves. I think it's Boss Moves Books or bossmoves.com. You can check it out. It is fantastic. I'm definitely going to do a few more videos on the rest of this book because everything in this book from the beginning to the end, and I only say that about a few books, is gold. This is great stuff. And it shifted my attitude, my mentality, my paradigm on what I'm going to do with my business and how I'm going to shape my business and how I approach my business and just how I think about money in general. So good. Thanks, guys.